Welcome to London. Welcome to the History Lord. You join me here today. I've just left Whittlesea Street. I'm walking down Theed Street and I'm entering to Rupel Street, which is all part of the Rupel Street Conservation Area just by Waterloo Station. It's quite unique around here. These are actually late Georgian houses, workers' cottages, that are extremely well preserved. They were built by a man called John Rupel, who was a metal merchant and a would-be property developer as well. They've survived world wars, they've survived the railways coming through, and they've survived the 21st century developers as well. I think they've done rather well. So as I said, it was John Rupel who had this whole area developed, and it was 1824. And he named the actual streets, not as they are now, but he named the streets Rupel Street, which is still the same, and John Street, Richard Street and Catherine Street, and those are the three streets that have changed. There's also Windmill Walk, which is just by the pub. We'll chat about the pub in a minute. But you may think this road looks familiar. Well, it does. It's appeared in numerous films and television programmes throughout the years. If you're a fan of Legend, the Craze story with Tom Hardy, that was filmed around here, as was New Tricks, and Call the Midwife is regularly filmed in these streets around here. Now, when it was developed in 1824, this was for ordinary people. These were not posh houses or expensive houses as they are now. They were for normal workers, so nurses, builders, plumbers, etc. These were 2 up, 2 down houses, so 2 rooms at the bottom, 2 rooms at the top, and it would not be unusual to have about 20 people living in each house. Must have been a tight squeeze. In the middle of Rupel Street is the King's Arms, a Victorian pub that's now Grade 2 listed, and I understand there's about 9 or 10 different real ales in there, so if you like real ale, certainly the place to go, isn't it? Now, I always tell people to look up as well, and there are certain places around Rupel Street and Whittlesea Street and the surrounding areas where you can see pre-1865 fire plaques. Now, in 1865, the London Fire Service or Fire Brigade was established, but before that, if you had your house insured, you could actually have it saved if it caught fire. The insurance companies, after the Great Fire of London, decided they would have their own private fire brigades, and if they turned up and your house had one of their insurance plaques on it, they would save it, or at least try to. If they turned up to a fire and there was no insurance plaque, oh dear, they would either let the fire burn and walk away, or they'd stay there and watch it with the rest of the public. It was one of those macabre details back in those centuries, ages ago. Now we're heading into Cornwall Street now, and I'm going to tell you all about going to the circus. So the last thing we're going to chat about today, in our little delve round the back of Waterloo Station, is a blue plaque that I'm sure James will insert somewhere in the film for us. It's to a couple, Philip and Patty Astley, and they first staged what we now recognise as a modern day circus, and it was staged in a field around here. It was so successful that in 1769 they moved just up the road to a premises near Westminster Bridge. They called it Astley's Amphitheatre, and it was a traditional circus as we know it. So Astley himself would ride acrobatically on horses, there was jugglers, he introduced what we now call clowns and things like that. He was so successful that in 1772 he was invited to Paris, to the Palace of Versailles, to entertain King Louis XV himself. We are very lucky to have a gem like the Rupel Street Conservation Area in the heart of London. So if you are in the Waterloo area, do come have a look. There's as I say, there's the King's Arms with its real ale if that's in what you like, and there's also little cafes about as well. It is a Georgian gem, as they say. Thank you very much for watching today. We do hope you enjoy these videos, and if you do, please hit subscribe. And if you want to see what we do outside of these videos, please go to historylord.co.uk, see about one of my walking tours of London, or have a look in the description below and see about James's YouTube channel, which is called Last Line Films. And don't forget, we're also on TikTok these days. So go over to TikTok and see the shortened versions of some of our videos as well. And as the train goes by, that's it. I've got 2 choices now. There's a cake shop or there's the barber's. I'm not sure which one I should go in. Are you, James?